Hi there, my name's Roz and I just thought I would jump on and do another video. I actually did try and record this one once already, but call it baby brain, but I was kind of talking a bit of nonsense and I got myself all mixed up, so I thought I'll try again, take two. So yeah, I've now got a 4-month-old baby girl, which is all very exciting. And yeah, I know the last couple of videos I did was very much, what I needed to pack for the hospital, and I think I might have touched on what my birth preferences would have been. And as expected, just throw them all in the bin. Nothing went to plan. I don't want to sound very doom and gloom, but my birth experience was very much like if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. So I was a bit unlucky in that aspect. But obviously I'm fine, I'm healthy, and my baby girl is great. So that's a positive to take away from it. But we didn't have the easiest time. So I thought I would just give you a little recap of what happened and we'll go from there. So I ended up overdue by like a couple of weeks by the time I had her. When I was like a week overdue, I went for my midwife appointment and they found that I had preeclampsia. So I was sent straight to the hospital with my bloods, and then I wasn't allowed to leave the hospital. So I was in for I think a week in total, just shy of a week, and it was pretty rough. Every 4 hours I was getting my vitals and my blood pressure taken just to make sure that I was doing okay and that Bailey was doing okay. I did not want induction. That was like the bottom of the list of my preferences. And I ended up with an induction and it did not go well. I tried my best to get a positive frame of mind. I'd been reading a lot of hypnobirthing books and I looked up like positive induction birth stories beforehand to try and like give myself like a good chance of like putting myself in a good frame of mind. It just didn't work for me. So we'd been in for say like, so we went in on the Wednesday and then the Saturday they had space for me in the delivery suite. So they started my induction, they broke my waters, they started my drip, and I laboured I think till about 12 o'clock at night, from about 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock at night. And at that point I was using a TENS machine, the hypnobirthing techniques with breathing and gas and air. But see, if I'm honest, I've had gas and air before and it did nothing this time. So I'm like, I swear it wasn't on, or it was empty, because it did nothing. So I was just using like the TENS machine and a lot of breathing, and it just was awful, if I'm honest. The thing with the drip is that if you go into labour naturally, you build up like your own like hormonal like pain management. You like automatically start to produce that, but when it happens through the Syntocin drip, because it doesn't I think they said because it doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier, you can't build up your own stuff. So it was just painful and very quickly, and they couldn't quite get the hang of the right rate of drip. So I was getting contractions one on top of the other, and I wasn't getting a break between them. So it was pretty rotten. And at about 12 o'clock at night, they said that they had to give me the epidural if they were going to put the drip up, and they needed to put the drip up to try and get me progressed further along. I'd been saying the whole day, I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it. I didn't want the epidural. I was just scared of having a needle in my spine. I didn't want it. And at the end of the day, they were saying, well, we need to do this or you can't continue on and we need to do something. So they eventually gave me the epidural. It only worked down one side of me, which was great. And then I didn't progress any further. They whacked up the drip, they tried everything, it wasn't progressing. They did some more exams and they said that they didn't think the baby was going to come out as natural as this intervention was. They said it wasn't going to happen, so they then suggested a C-section, and they said, we could let you try for another hour or so, but really it's going to be a C-section now. So I eventually just had to say, look, we need to get baby out, we need to keep safe, so that's the way forward. So about 5 o'clock in the morning, we all agreed, signed the papers, and the night shift were going to take me for my C-section, but there was another emergency that took priority. So me and baby were both okay in terms of vitals, so we waited until the next shift came in, and our baby girl was born about 9 o'clock in the morning, about 9:30 in the morning. So it'd been like a full day at this point. I was pretty done in. But yeah, I wish someone had videoed us at the time when she was brought out, because everyone had convinced us we were having a boy. So when she came out and she was a wee girl, we were just so shocked. And we had like 2 names picked out for a boy. It was going to be dead easy. And for a girl, we were stumped. We had a huge list, and we kind of went round and round, but there was none that we both loved. So it took us about the 3 full weeks before we registered her, because I just couldn't settle on a name. So yeah, it was a massive surprise having a wee girl. But she's amazing. She's 4 months now, and I remember someone at work telling me once, like, you'll never remember what life was like without her. And yeah, just, I can't imagine life without her now. She's brilliant. She's just the best. So anyway, yeah, the birth did not go to plan. I wish I'd pushed more for a C-section when I had my first appointment. When they triaged me with the preeclampsia, they'd started all the induction chat, and I said I would just love to just get a C-section because I don't want an induction. And they said, well, it's a quicker recovery for a natural birth, so we want to give you that. We want to give you the we're going to try the induction first, and if that doesn't happen, then we'll talk C-section. And I just wish I'd stuck to my guns. Everyone I know that's had an induction, I hadn't heard one positive induction birth story. I've since heard a couple, but for second births, so yeah, it was very much not what I needed. Especially, I'd been in the hospital for nearly a week beforehand, so I was just not in the best state to be doing it. So I don't want to be doom and gloom. I did not have a good birth experience. I don't know if we're going to have any more kids, but if we do, I take a bit of comfort in knowing that I will be going for a planned C-section this time, because I'm not going to go through any of that again. I'm just going to go for a planned C-section. So yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare. And there was I found it quite difficult in terms of, I took a lot longer to come out of I had a spinal block before the C-section, and it took a while for that to wear off and get my legs back and get my mobility back. So I was in the hospital for quite a wee while. So I think I went into labour suite on Saturday. She was born the Sunday morning, and then we were let go late on the Tuesday. Yeah, so it was quite a long stint in the hospital. So my hospital bag that was packed for a couple of days did not do. There was emergency trips to Asda, and yeah, best laid plans and all. So yeah, that was our sort of birth story. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask. I'm pretty open about what happened. Personally, I was just gutted. I wanted, minimal intervention. I wanted a pool birth. I wanted it to be as natural as possible. And I had every intervention going. I had pessary, water broken manually. I had the drip. I had epidural, spinal block. I had the works. So, I did get a shot in a pool. But if I'm honest, it did not help. I had a cannula in as well, and they had to take the cannula, unscrew it to make it changed, then put it back in and screw it in, and it was in such an awkward position here in my arm. And then the pool was just a wee bit too cold for me, so I just felt uncomfortable, and it wasn't it. So my magical natural water pool birth and everything, it just did not go to plan. So yeah, and then afterwards with the C-section, I think one of the things I was so looking forward to was going to be get my mobility back and being able to do things again, because when I was pregnant I was so massive and swollen, especially with preeclampsia. I was just so struggling with mobility, and I was like, oh yes, when I have the baby out, I'll be back to doing stuff. And it was back to negative squares to mobility. I couldn't move about the bed. I was needing help for everything. And the cannula that was in here, when you were trying to scoot about the bed yourself, you needed to use your arms, and trying to bend my hand to lean on it was a nightmare. So they kept the cannula in quite a while just in case I needed any top-up medication. Yeah, and the thing I didn't know as well is because I had a C-section, they sent us home with like a medicine you had to inject every day for blood clots. And my husband had to give me that injection, and oh, it stung so bad. And I don't know what it is, but like, my husband's a very capable man. But the thought of him injecting me, I was like, you're not a doctor, you shouldn't be doing this. So it gave me a bit of the fear. But yeah, a lot of medication to come home with. But thankfully, Grant managed most of that because my brain was so scattered afterwards. And I don't know how most people dealt with, you know, the newborn stage. I think I'll not go into it in too much detail unless anyone wants me to, but like for us, like we found the first 2 months like so hard. The lack of sleep. I'm breastfeeding the baby, so you're up every like 2-3 hours, and it was just the hardest period. And you've got loads of people wanting to come see you, which is all lovely, but like it's just a lot of stress and a lot of like, it's a lot on your plate when you're already really overwhelmed and tired. So we just found it really difficult. But I would say like about 8 weeks, like everything kind of turned a corner, and it's just been getting like better and better steadily. So like, but I remember meeting some people quite early on who are, I feel really bad, they're due to have a wee baby. And when they caught us at like the wrong day, and they're like, "Oh my god, how is it? Is it magical?" And we're like, "It's hell. It's awful. Don't do it." But obviously we had to apologise and say we're having a bad day, but it is really good. So I'm sure they will be fine. But yeah, we really struggled those like first couple months. So I don't know if anyone else was like that. I feel like it's kind of glossed over, like because obviously it is so wonderful having a new baby. You don't want to say anything negative about it, but like some of it's really hard. The toll it's taken on my body as well is massive. Yeah, just physically and like emotionally, all your hormones going out of whack. It's really difficult, and I think that's kind of glossed over because at the end of the day, something that everyone kept saying to me that kind of bugged me at the start was like, oh, but you and the baby are healthy. You and the baby are healthy and you're here. And I know that is so important, and not everyone gets that, you know, wonderful gift. But it kind of minimises, like, there was a struggle to get there. Like, that pain was legitimate. And I think the other thing that my mum always used to say was like, I'd ask her about like, what was it like? And she'd be like, oh, you forget the pain. And I used to think, how on earth could you forget it? And even when I was in labour, I was like, I will never forget this. How could I ever forget this? And I swear to God, within like a week, it was like wiped from my brain. I don't know what hormone flushes it out, but it's like trying to remember a dream. Like, I know I was in pain. I know I was in the worst pain I've ever been in my life, but I can't remember it. I can't access like those memories. It's like totally gone. And that's the weirdest thing to me. I was like, it just feels like I'm trying to pick it, a dream, trying to remember like what happened. So I should have maybe done this video really early on, but I was in no state. So this is me now, like 4 months from having the baby, and I'm now up to being like a normal human being and chatting about it. So yeah, if anyone's got any like good induction experiences, please put them in the comments so that I don't scare everyone off it. I'm sure it does happen. It just didn't happen for me. I was quite unlucky. And yeah, if anyone's got any questions, like pop them in the comments below. I'll answer. I'm probably very too open about things, so feel free. And yeah, we have our wonderful 4-month baby girl who's keeping me very busy just now. So I'm planning on doing a few more videos. In particular, I'm going to start talking about, which might not be for everyone's cup of tea, but diet and exercise. So I put on probably about over half my body weight, and I'm really struggling. I didn't lose it all automatically. I've not been losing it with breastfeeding. I'm still carrying a lot of weight, and I'm struggling with it. I struggled trying to get clothes, trying to feel comfortable, and I'm now I'm on week 2 of a sort of planned diet and exercise plan. So I'm going to chat all about that. If anyone's interested, like what kind of foods I'm eating, what kind of stuff I'm doing, because I think that I'm not really pressuring myself in terms of like bouncing back, which I know is really common in culture, but I just feel for myself, I want to be fit, I want to be a good role model for my wee girl, and even just like the physical aspects of having a baby, like they start to weigh a lot of they start to weigh really heavy. Like holding her, I want to make sure that like I can get down on my knees and play with her and, you know, run about with her in the park, which is bigger. And right now I'm like struggling with a lot of these things just because I am carrying around extra weight and it's uncomfortable for me. So yeah, I will chat more on that in another video. So thanks for listening to me gab on, and yeah, feel free, any comments, any questions, just pop them down below.